Tell me your name.
Rene Balcer.
And how do you spell that?
Balcer. I can give you my card.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. Oh, okay. And when did you first get paid for writing a script? What year?
When did I first get paid? That would have been 1977.
And
I joined the Guild in '81.
right. How would you compare this strike to the one in '88?
This is a much better organized strike. Also, I think the writers are much more united. I think the rest of the Hollywood community and the rest of the unions are much more united with us. And I think the issues are much clearer.
Why are you guys more organized this time?
Well, I think we have a very good president who's very single-minded. We know he can organize a strike. We know he can organize a guild. I think what's left now is to see if we can actually get a deal.
Right. And what do you think of the chances of getting a deal?
Pardon?
What do you think of the chances of getting a deal that you'll like?
I think judging by our negotiating position and our stance at this point, I think the chances are pretty good. But, it gets a little dicier the longer it goes on.
How much, I mean, you're pretty established, but I'm sure there's a lot of fear among some of your peers who are...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on strike for myself because however this pans out, it's not going to affect me at all. So I'm kind of bulletproof on that. But, those of us in this sort of fortunate position are striking for the future of the Guild and for future writers. I think it's all a question of sacrifice and sacrificing for the future. In 1960, the Guild went on strike for residuals at a time when nobody was getting residuals. And those writers gave up residuals for existing work in return for fair residuals on future work. So if it takes that kind of sacrifice this time, then so be it. But this is a strike about the future.
Do you have any thoughts on the media's infatuation with this strike? I mean, they love it. I mean, they're just blowing it up huge.
Depends which media you're talking about. Variety and the New York Times, among others, don't like it, and their reporting reflects that. There's very biased reporting from the New York Times, from Michael Sipley in particular. A lot of would-be journalists who are basically bucking for writing deals from the studios. The same media outlets who gave us the Iraq War and Judith Miller and all that misinformation.
Do you have any theory? I mean, it's bucking for deals with studios, you think? I mean, Shipley obviously has written, for the other side as well. For your side, hasn't he been a production executive or something?
Yeah, I don't think that makes, if he is, that doesn't make him on our side. Yeah.
Do you have any theories on why the New York Times and Variety are...
Well, because their corporate clients and their advertisers are, they know which side their bread's buttered on. Anyways, it doesn't really matter what they report because this isn't a strike for the hearts and minds of the viewing public. Our audience, if any, are other guilds, other unions, Teamsters, IATSE, and they all know what the stakes are.
But the coverage is huge. I mean, they're just infatuated with this strike. It's a huge...
Well, really, the New York Times, yesterday there was a very large picket demonstration in Wall Street. There's nothing about it in the New York Times today.
And what about the
LA Times? LA Times, it became the huge rally at Fox last Friday became a page 2 or page 3 article, and what they had on the front page was some article about Michelin ratings and some nonsense.
In the heart of hearts of the people who cover you, what percentage of them do you think would prefer to be in your shoes?
What do you mean by my shoes?
I mean,
my individual shoes, or the writer's shoes?
Working writers in Hollywood making a lot more money, and
well, the average writer makes $62,000, so
that's not a lot more, but
right. So I don't know. I think where they'd like. I can't speak for every reporter, so I don't know what.
No, what do you think? What's your hunch? Do you ever get that feel? That there's a lot of jealousy when you're.
Yeah, well, it's certainly from, I mean, the LA Times is notorious for that. Obviously, Michael Sipley. You don't see Bill Carter covering it. But for some reason, they took him off. I don't know. Maybe he would have been too sympathetic. I have no idea. Maybe he has no interest in covering the strike. We're dealing with media organizations who are, if they're good at nothing, they're very good at PR. So obviously they're going to control that as much as possible. If I was in their shoes, I'd do the same thing.
Right. What are some of the most perceptive articles that you've read on this strike that come
perceptive?
to mind? Yeah, perceptive. Smartest. What's some of the smartest stuff you read about it? If anything.
I don't know. I don't read newspapers or stuff for smart articles about anything.
Do you have any sense that this entertainment industry, as we know it, is the Titanic, and that the iceberg is free content online, produced by amateurs?
Well, I don't know about produced by amateurs, but the birth of the film business was...
This guy's going to get hit?
Nah, he'll be okay. The birth of the film business was amateurs. The Lumiere brothers were amateurs, so of course amateurs are always the first one in. I think network television, as we know it, this is sort of the last heartbeats of it. It's all going to move to the internet. Everything's going to be streamed through the internet. I think the Writers Guild should sign a minimum basic agreement with Google and Juiced and all those outlets. We don't need, you really don't need TV networks or TV studios. Google could probably finance enough development to fill 3 24-hour chunks every week.
Great, thanks a lot.
Okay.